said, there's no way you can't mess up the back line like that.
Yeah. So this is where Tapa have to take some beating, bro. This game is on Theodore Whitmore.
What were your thoughts going into tonight? And people, tell us in the comment section as well, what were your thoughts going into opening night of the World Cup qualifying campaign in the Azteca? What was going through your minds? What was going through your mind?
You know, to be honest, I wasn't excited for the game. Well, I was excited, but I didn't have much expectation because we were coming off a, what I would call a poor World Cup campaign. You understand? And that was the World Cup where Theodore Whitmore made it known that he was trying to win. That didn't look like a campaign that we were trying to win. And so coming into the World Cup qualifying campaign, I was just there for the ride and I was just hoping that we could pull out some good results. What was your expectations going into the World Cup qualifying campaign?
Well, beyond expectations, what was I thinking about knowing that we'd have Mexico the very first game? It brought me back to a couple World Cup qualifying campaigns ago, when in fact we opened up against Mexico and then Panama.
Yeah.
And that was the last time we were in the final round, so it would be the one before the last cycle. And we opened up against Mexico in the Azteca and we got a 0-0 draw.
Yeah.
You know, and we were so hyped coming back to the stadium to play Panama, and we did manage to draw against Panama in the stadium. That was the first time in a long time I can remember the stadium being absolutely ram-packed.
Yeah.
Anyways, going into the game, you know, I didn't necessarily have a high expectation because I knew that game we couldn't have traveled with our full complement of players due to COVID restrictions in England and quarantine, stuff like that.
So, remember that, people?
Yeah.
In the midst of COVID, that was when we had the Mexico game. And it was very interesting because it wasn't only affecting CONCACAF, the South American teams.
Yeah.
So I remember Emi Martinez just deciding that he's going to play with Argentina. He's just going to travel. So, yeah, we couldn't have a lot of our play, but what are you saying?
Yeah, so that trip to Mexico, obviously we weren't allowed to travel with our full complement of players. However, I thought that if there was a game that we weren't going to be able to have our full team, I wouldn't mind it being that Mexico game because expectations would have had been low regardless. So I would say let's go to Mexico, fight for a result. If we don't get a result, fine. I'm not expecting a result in the Azteca anyways. So I had us going for 0 points from that game regardless. So going into the game, you want to go through the starting lineup for the people?
All right. So the starting lineup for the game against Mexico, the first game of the World Cup qualifying campaign. Jamaica started with Andre Blake in goal. Alvas Paul at left back.
Alvas Paul at right back.
Alvas Paul at right back. Kemar Lawrence at left back. Mariapa and Damian Lowe started as our centre backs. Yeah. Then it started with Anthony Grant. I think this was his debut. This was his debut, innit? Yeah. So Anthony Grant started with Speedy, Devon Williams, and Romario Williams in midfield. Then we had Norman Campbell, Shamar Nicholson, and Corey Burke. I guess it would have been Corey Burke. Yeah. So that was the starting 11 people. Again, looked similar to the team that was playing the Gold Cup with Corey Burke, and Corey Burke featured a lot in the Gold Cup. Yeah. But yeah, this was the starting lineup. What do you think about the starting lineup?
And as I mentioned previously, you know, there was no Bobby Reed or Rafael Morrison or Daniel Johnson, so on and so forth, because of their inability to travel based on the restrictions in England. Yeah. So, as I said, going into this game, players like Romario Williams, you know, wasn't necessarily high on, right? But Romario Williams and Norman Campbell wasn't very. This was because of.
Actually, said this was a loss because of someone's stupidity. Whose stupidity was it?
We're not even reached down to
that. Yeah, we're not talking about nitty-gritty.
Yeah, that's the nitty-gritty. But as I said, so, you know, went out with Romario Williams, and in the midfield, and Mexico severely outpossessed us, but I thought we were disciplined and we held our shape. You know, we went down, but I wasn't disappointed with how this team played. You know, I thought Mariapa and Damian Lowe looked really solid around there. Yeah. You know, Andre Blake made some good saves, and Devon Williams and especially Anthony Grant were really, really solid. Anthony Grant was very solid. Anthony Grant was all over the place. keep in mind, I was doubting Anthony Grant heavily.
Yeah, because of the age and the league that he plays.
Yeah.
It's justified.
Before going into this campaign, I was like, you know, he's playing in the 4th division in England. And he's a 35-year-old. I don't see what value he's going to add to the team. And even in the game, there were elements of his game that I was not impressed with.
Yeah.
Such as his first touch and his passing, I think could have been better. However, his defensive acumen in that game, his positioning, his covering, and his good decision making.
Warren Ben, today we're talking about the campaign.
Yeah.
You see me, we're on the Mexico game right now. So
the first.
We are breaking down the Mexico game and we have to come all the way to the Honduras game that we just played. Yeah. So we'll just give you guys the starting lineup, and he's talking about Anthony Grant. I think that was his debut.
Yeah.
So we were all doubting Anthony Grant. We wasn't sure what we were getting because who is here sitting down watching League One?
Yeah.
In England.
And I think that kept us in the game. And then Shamar Nicholson with individual brilliance, I might say, managing to score a goal from on top of the box, finishing it very well, past Guillermo Ochoa. We were excited. I know we were this close to getting a point in the Estadio Azteca.
Yeah.
We were this close to getting a point. And in the 87th minute, some substitutions were made. And I did not agree with these substitutions because I believe that Anthony Grant was doing a good enough job slotting in behind the defense, so that he didn't necessarily need to have to bring on Javier Brown. He put Alvas Paul into the centre back, took off Anthony Grant, and I thought that brought even more pressure on us in the edge of the box area than we were getting when Anthony Grant was on the field.
Yeah,
and from that we conceded a last minute goal.
Yeah, Tapa disrupted what we had going. Mm-hmm. When you're playing game, when you're playing certain football game and there's something called the feel of the game. The players that are on the field have a feel of the game. If you're going to make a defensive substitution, take off an attacker and bring on a defender. You don't disrupt your midfield. Because your midfield is heavy and supporting the defense. Yeah. You understand? So that's where we feel like we went wrong in that Mexico game. But, you kind of sound like you want to play good still. But
no, I never necessarily said that. Yeah. I said we maintained our discipline on the defensive end. In that game, we had absolutely nothing
to offer
going forward.
We're making them some stats.
Yeah.
Mexico had 73% of the possession in that game. They took 27 shots. Jamaica took 5. They had 7 shots on target. We had 1. I guess that was the one that we scored. Shots off target 13-2. Shots blocked 7. So we were resilient in our defense. But we didn't present a threat going forward.
No, this was not our strongest team that we sent out there. So I wasn't expecting much from this game regardless. However, in the opportunity that we had something to get from it, that would have been the most important point in the history.
Heartbreak, bro.
Yeah.
When Jamaica scored that goal, we could have feel the goal and come back. We could have feel Mexico have a score, but we were trying to hold on to some lights up there. Let's see what it scored, bro. We jumped to our knees.
I was waiting for that whistle. I wanted the whistle to be blown from as soon as Shamanika scored the goal. Let's get the hell out of this Estadio Azteca and go home.
Yeah. But it wasn't to be. And to be honest, we were playing with a weakened team because we couldn't have,
a very weakened
team. The English-based players or some of the Europe-based players, we couldn't have them. So, that's a Mexico game. And I can't really put it down to much, that loss, because any sensible person would have that as 0 points. Going to the Azteca, not many teams would go to Azteca and get anything out of the game. So I feel like it was a good effort from Jamaica. We were enthused. We were optimistic about the campaign going forward at that point.
The Mexico game, that gave me some hope that with this kind of defense that we put out there, when we add some things into the attack, things will only get better.
Right? Hugh, everything went wrong in that Mexico game. If you're talking about the Mexico game or the campaign, bro, because the Mexico game, I feel like we had a decent game. We're not going to beat the team for that Mexico game.
As I said, bro, I'm not going to say a decent game. I think that's a bit overstated because no team should outpossess any Jamaican team 73% to whatever the other half of the number is.
Yeah.
The other percentage of the number is, or fraction of the number is.
And it was hard to take, but that was the first game of the campaign. Let's move on to the second.
All right.
So at the office, Panama.
Yeah, so World Cup qualifying home debut.
Yeah.
I was very confident. I was extremely confident going into this game, knowing that the likes of Mikel Antonio and Ethan Pinnock and Rafael Morrison would have been injected, right? What What happened though?
Mm-hmm.
What happened though was the furthest thing from what we expected.
Yeah.
The furthest thing from what we expected. First of all, the way how the changes were made, poorly done.
Yeah.
There's no way you can inject 9 new people. Right. Damian Lowe didn't even change. Right? There were some decisions that was just unfathomable.
Make no sense.
The way how we defended against Mexico, we didn't have to mess with
switch it completely.
There's no way Damian Lowe doesn't play.
And a lot of the people, we're going to address the comments soon, people.
Yeah.
But a lot of the people are saying that Tapa never really picked this team. This team was given to Tapa. That was the sentiment around the camp. And other people were saying, the JFF is saying, we bring in all of these players, bro. You have to play them Tapa. That's what other people
first, let's go through the Panama game. As that's the starting lineup for the Panama game.
Let me get them.
Alright, go on.
So Andre Blake started in goal.
Yeah.
I don't think we even need to mention Andre Blake for the rest of the video because he started all the games.
Yeah, Andre Blake played all games.
Alright, Kemar Lawrence. Wes Harding at right back. Liam Moore and Ethan Pinnock for the centre backs.
Yeah.
In the midfield we had Daniel Johnson, Ravel Morrison, Bobby Reed, and then the front three was Mikel Antonio, Corey Burke, and Kemar Roof. All centre forwards. All centre forwards. So that was our starting 11. We had some substitution. Alva Sport came on later in the game. Shaman Nicholson came on, Junior Flemings came on, Devon came on. About that starting lineup, we could talk about it a little bit. I feel like that was very harsh on Shaman Nicholson coming off a goal against Mexico.
Yeah.
I feel like he should have started that game. Damian Lowe should have started that game. This is a World Cup qualifying campaign. It's not a friendly. This is not a camp. This is not where we just get some fixtures to play.
And for that game, I still wrapped it with Alpha Sport as well. Coming off of such a solid performance. So let me tell you the starting lineup that I would have wrapped with for that Mexico game. For that Panama game, right?
Who would have started?
Obviously, Blakey in goal. Blakey is our best goalkeeper, not without a doubt. And I would go with, if not the same backline, I'd probably make one change. So I would probably have put in Ethan Pinnock or Mariappa. That's the only change that I would make, right? Damian Lowe had a good game.
Yeah, man.
Damian Lowe had a good game, and I would not change Damian Lowe. I would not introduce 2 brand new centre backs. I would not have done that. If I was introducing a centre back, which I probably wouldn't have adjusted the defense line any at all for this particular Panama game, especially seeing how well they played against Mexico, who is a better team than Panama, why wouldn't we just rock with the same defense?
Yeah.
But if I was making one change, I'd probably make the change introducing Ethan Pinnock for Maria. Right? Wes Harding and Liam Moore would have to sit on the bench for this game.
All right.
In the midfield now, Anthony Grant, I'd have to give him another start. Because we didn't start this game with any holding midfield at any time. And it showed on the field. Panama just walked through midfield because we had no defensive presence in the midfield whatsoever. And it never even started with Speedy.
Yeah.
So there wasn't even any Devon Williams. So there was no. So I would have to go with Anthony Grant, right? What I would have probably done is I would have probably went with a 4. Rush, I think he went to the 4-4-2, not a 4-3-3 in that game. If I remember right, I think he had Corey Burke as a left midfielder and Bobby Reed as a right midfielder. Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, anyways, I would have probably still gone with the 4, but instead of Corey Burke, I would have instead of Corey Burke and Kemar Roof, I would have gone with Shamar Nicholson and Anthony Grant, right?
Yeah.
And I would have played Anthony Grant beside of Daniel Johnson. You get me I say?
Yeah.
And put Ravel Morrison somewhere there, and then Bobby Reed somewhere there, and have Antonio and Shamar Nicholson.
All right.
That would be the starting 11 that I would go with.
I don't mind that starting 11, and what I'm going to say now, this is where the coach have to take some of the blame.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is where it started to go downhill. As I mentioned a while ago, this is a World Cup qualifying campaign, not friendly games. You don't rest, and that's how it came across to me. You know, the flying up and down. Some of the players couldn't go. Some of the players stayed. So it seemed like he was resting Damian Lowe. It seemed like he was what else could be it doesn't make sense. Resting Damian Lowe, resting Shamar Nicholson, resting Anthony Grant. In a World Cup qualifying campaign, there is no such thing as rest. So this is where Tapa have to take some beating, bro. This game is on Theodore Whitmore. Unless Matter of fact, it is on him. Because people are going to say, yo, at the JFF, give me the team, walk left the job, brother. You're not the coach anymore. Let Michael Ricketts going to coach the team then.
You can't.
So you have to take the beating top off.
Yeah, as I said, there's no way you can't mess up the backline like that. Yeah. It makes no sense. You cannot have Anthony Grant in the team. You cannot put a team out in a World Cup qualifier without any holding midfielder any at all.
And as they take off Anthony Grant in the Mexico game, they scored. It took him off what, the 87th minute, they scored in the 89th minute. So you have to start with Anthony Grant.
You have to start with Anthony Grant over any one of these top championship players that he started.
Yeah.
Because these the three of the midfield players that he started with, Bobby Reed, Johnson, and Ravel Morrison are 3 championship players. Yeah. But I think Anthony Grant would have had to be introduced into that spot instead of one of those 2.
Yeah, right? People, make sure you like the video. Make sure you like the video, and if you're not subscribed to the channel as yet, go and hit that subscribe button right under this video. Really appreciate it.
Especially in that Panama game,
Yeah.
That Panama game, I was absolutely devastated. Because I was watching this in front of my own eyes and I was wondering, what the hell am I looking at right now?
Oh, so you're saying Shamar Nicholson scored our benching?
How?
No make no sense to me, bro. In a World Cup qualifying campaign.
And the thing is, Shamar Nicholson was the only thing that was giving us anything going forward in the Mexico game. And Shamar Nicholson was playing against 3 Mexican defenders. Like the goal, him score a big goal.
Yeah.
Him score a big goal. Like he has to play. Shamar Nicholson has to play. Anthony Grant has to play. You cannot change what the backline says. It makes no sense. This is a World Cup qualifying football.
So where I said this game is on who? Tapper, the players. Because the players never help themselves either. Yeah. Just all of a sudden can't control ball.
The players out there, they were abysmal. They were all over the place. It was poor. However, this has to be on team selection. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm giving this one to Tapper. This game was Tapper with more sport.
So I'm chalking this down to team selection. With the Costa Rican game now, this brings us back to the same point about the continuity and the way how we should have played in the Panama game, right?
Yeah.
Going back to Costa Rica, many of the players weren't able to make the trip to Costa Rica. See?
Okay, yeah.
So because the players weren't able to make the trip to Costa Rica, we have to go back to a similar type situation that we put out there in
against Mexico.
Yeah. Alright, so the Costa Rica game now, the starting lineup was the same back 4 as the one in Mexico. And Andre Blake, as you said, so Lowe and Maps in the center defense, Lawrence and Powell as the 2 fullbacks. In the midfield now, we had Grant and Speedy and McGee, right?
Okay.
That was our midfield 3, and then up top we had Corey Brett, Shamar Nicholson, and Junior Fleming. That was our starting line. And as I'm saying, we saw where we looked more compact, we looked more disciplined. We did not have very much going forward though.
Yeah.
But the back line looked more solid, looked more barring the one mess up that we made, we conceded very early in that game.
Yeah.
And it was a mix up at the back, right? Poor defending.
We conceded in the 3rd minute.
Yeah. Poor defending. However, after that, we looked disciplined, we looked solid, and I think we did play a very good game against Costa Rica. Still with a lack of talent because we didn't get to bring some of our better options.
Yeah.
So I think in this first window, oh by the way, Shamar Nicholson again.
I was waiting. Shamar Nicholson scored again. So in the 2 games that he played, the first 2 games he played of the World Cup qualifying campaign, Shamar Nicholson scored. In fact, the first game he played, and they
bench. Well, he did play in the Panama game, but
he came on. Yeah. But the first 2 games that he started, he scored. I don't understand that. And these are the things that gives us headache when we're thinking about Tapper Whitmore. And then you ask yourself, if Jamaica had a better coach, some of these are the decisions that cost us games, would they have happened?
Yeah, but as I said, even going back to the Panama game, I thought if we didn't have a better presence in the midfield, like had Grant been in the midfield in that game, I would never mess with our backline. Probably not win the game, probably a nil or draw.
Yeah.
I don't see Panama just walking over us like
that.
You know, so we came back to Costa Rica, not a great game by any sense. You know, Costa Rica still possessed us.
Outshot us.
However, we made a better account of ourselves than we did against Panama, which is embarrassing because this Costa Rican team is going to qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah.
The Panamanian team is out of World Cup qualification, right? And we managed to play with Costa Rica on both occasions.
So
and this Costa Rica team is going to play off with New Zealand. They're going to beat New Zealand and they're going to be in the World Cup. Tariq McGee had a good game in that game.
A decent game.
And Tariq McGee eventually was phased out of the program. So that goes to team selection.
Yeah.
But the first window, we basically went through all the games in the first window, right? I would say we got 1 point from the first window. We lost 3-0 at home and we conceded a heartbreaker against Mexico in the first game. My keys to the first window: Panama game, lack of midfield presence, lack of chemistry, change of the back line. No chemistry going forward.
Yeah.
That cost us the game in Panama. Mexico game, we were short in our squad depth. We didn't have a strong team going out there. However, I thought our back line was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that back line was pretty similar to the back line that we played most of the campaign.
Yeah.
Think about it, Pinnock wasn't always here. And Damien Lowe and Mariapa, Alva Scoren and Kemar Lawrence, later on Javier Brown, Kemar Lawrence, and they're great. But that backline that we played in Mexico and Costa Rica, that was our core backline. And I thought because those guys have been playing together for a long time, Alva Scoren, Damien Lowe, Adrian Mariapa, and Kemar Lawrence, that's been our back four for a long time.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I had no problem with our backline, right? So I think we can chalk up the first window to the fact that we didn't get continuity because the players weren't able to travel to Mexico City and to Costa Rica. However, in Panama, we should have made a better account of ourselves. Poor performance, poor coaching, lack of chemistry.
Yeah.
That's the first.